Pat's Pizza and Bistro, 1426 West Broad Street, Bethlehem, PA. One of my favorite places to go in the Valley, and they came on as a sponsor. Yanni's been on the podcast before. He's had me up there from tastings. I've had everything from the chicken fingers, which are made from scratch, all the way up to the brand new pasta flights. The pasta flights are trending. They are flying off the shelves. It's insane that they can even keep up. I met the chef over there. Legit, no joke stuff going on. They use clean ingredients, real food, fresh food. It is family owned, family operated. It is very fast and furious. If you go to their online website, it is right here. You can get all this information. You can order there. You can place pickup orders. You can have delivery on certain days, and the hours of operation are on there as well. Please go check them out. I am not just saying this. They are a legit force to be reckoned with in the Valley. That's Pat's Pizza and Bistro, 1426 West Broad Street, Bethlehem, PA. Luke Delmeyer knives, handcrafted, handmade knives. I use mine every time we go to the pop-ups, and it is ridiculous. It is just something special. There's something different. It's handcrafted. It's handmade. Luke has grown since we started the show to now, where he is pumping out knives and classes. I want to push his classes. If you go to lukedelmeyer.com, it has all the information for the classes, and you get to take a 2-day course, and you go over everything from safety on how to use it. You're selecting the knife handles out, and you're really from top to bottom getting to go through the whole experience. Where else can you find that in the Valley? Luke is a very special person to the show. He's really cool. We've done projects together. We have apparel we're doing together. I really want you to go check it out. If you're interested in anything, handcrafted stuff, working class stuff, blue collar stuff, like this is the area you need to go to. But it's lukedelmeyer.com, Luke Delmeyer, handcrafted knives. Sign up for those classes, those courses. Go check that out. It's really cool. It's a 2-day event, and you get to experience making your own knife, and then you take your knife home with you. And you're going to take home a little bit more than that. So check out Luke Delmeyer, friend of the show. Always awesome watching him grow. lukedelmeyer.com. Mindleafcbd.com. Mindleaf. Easton Zone, Mindleaf CBD. I didn't know a lot about CBD till they became a sponsor and they started coming on the show a lot. And Liz is huge for, I learn something every time she comes on. They are over in College Hill in Easton. You can check out all their information on mindleafcbd.com. I believe you can order there, but go experience the store. Liz's mom works over there. Liz keeps bringing in products such as the honey flights. They have peanut butter, the infused pretzels. My favorite thing is the tinctures to go to sleep. I have problems sleeping, and these things put me out, and I have a little bit of lucid dreams riding a unicorn, and then I wake up back to normal, and then I get excited to do that again. So my big thing I use with them is the tinctures and the balm. The balm is another one. I use it for aches and pains on my knees, and my old man uses it for his arthritis. Mindleaf CBD. They are over in Easton on College Hill. Please go check the store out. Really cool space, and like I said, Liz's mom's over there, and they will help you with everything. It's awesome that they're super local, and I stand behind their CBD and everything that they got coming out of there. That's Mindleaf CBD, mindleafcbd.com. Eric K. Dowdle, defense attorney. We had him on the show, and what crazy stories this guy's had. He's helped a ton of people over the years, and if you're looking for help, he is your guy. You can contact them at 610-882-3000, and it's ekdefense.com. Do you have a pending court case? Do you have a court appearance and need a defense lawyer? Do you need proper representation? Felony, misdemeanor, drug offense, assault, homicide, DUI, traffic violation, appeals. Reach out to Eric. Check out the podcast we did with him as well. It has his whole story on there. If you need help, Eric is here to help you. He sponsors the show. We appreciate it. He's going to be doing a monthly thing with us. Eric will be a part of the family now. Thank you for sponsoring.
Excellent.
It's hitting. All right, we're recording Never Again Radio. I have no clue what episode this is. We're jumping into it. Welcome to Never Again Radio. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for bringing your drinks, and we have some hard seltzers to start out this Saturday morning. I'm excited to get into this.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm vibing. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know how I stumbled upon you. It was probably through Shug. And then I started following your social media, not you home or anything like that. I wasn't going through your garbage. I promise. And then I really enjoyed how you presented food. You did food. And then I saw that you actually enjoy food and you enjoy doing what you're doing. And then I think I started running into you, and then I could tell you were going to be a little bit nervous if you agreed to do a podcast. And I was like, I think I can get a really good podcast out of this. When did you start digging into food? Have you ever always been a food person? Did you cook? How did you get into the idea of food before you even started making it a social media thing?
So way back, like when I was younger, I would always love to cook in the kitchen and like bake. And
what did you make?
Like box mixes, but I mean, it really ends there because I would always forget things. So I was like forbidden at a point they're like, stop using the box mixes. You forget everything and they're not turning out well. So yeah, so that's how it started. And then I kind of like gave up the cooking, the baking thing. And after like I moved out on my own when I was like 19, 20, then I like dove into
You're good.
cooking and I was like always finding like new recipes. Like for me, like it's always been like what's different, like what's unique, what's something I've never tried. Like so that's the kind of stuff I was looking up. And so I started cooking a lot at home, and from there it turned into posting photos about it on my personal Instagram. And then so
this started out of your house.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It was just like cooking at home. That was like the main thing. And now it's mainly restaurants.
Did you have an angle on it in the beginning, or were you just doing it?
No, it was really like some Foodie was my personal Instagram, and I turned it in like literally, went in, changed the name, turned it into what it is. And so I was just like posting those from home, and then we started to go out to eat more. Like I would go out for dinner and I would post my photos, and I had no like intentions behind it. Like I had no expectations of what it was going to be. Like this was strictly just me sharing the things that I enjoyed with other people. And a few years into it, like I started to like I had never heard the term influencer before, and I don't love that term at all. Like
it's odd.
I feel like it had received so much negative there's negative stuff behind it, and I don't identify with it. I feel like I'm more of a content creator. But I heard about like influencers and like what this was, and I feel like at that point I also started to realize like the direction of my account, and it's really been like supporting the Lehigh Valley and supporting the local restaurants, the local businesses, because I was born here, like I was raised here. I love it. Like I've thought about moving away so many times, and I can't.
Where were you gonna go?
I would love to go out west. I love a good California. I've never been to California. But.
Neither have I. I tried leaving 3 times.
Yeah.
I went to Virginia. Or no, twice. I went to Virginia twice, and both times I came back. And then I got stuck here. Not stuck, but I was like, I'm done trying. Like, this is where I end up. And then my brother started having kids, and I didn't want to be like the uncle that like they didn't know. And then it was hard being away from family, just talking and seeing my family. And then I didn't realize how much of that I did. And then I think the last time when I ended up back in Nazareth, because I even like tried like, I'm going to Bethlehem, Easton. And then like, I was just like, nope, you're stuck here. And then that's when we did the studio here. And I was like, I don't care. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. But there's something about the Lehigh Valley, and especially now, like with social media and people like yourself and others doing things, you start actually, it's like going through a closet with a flashlight and you're like, this is cool. Like, you know what I mean? You start finding different things. And if you follow the right people, you can find a lot of treasures around here.
It's so true. Like, and I love watching this area grow. Like having been, born here, it's changed so much. And like, I believe in like all of the people here. Like it's such a diverse group of individuals, and I love it. Like I love the growth. I always tell my friends, like I'm always telling people, like I love watching you grow. I love seeing your success, and like even with you, like I love it, and it's the coolest thing. So I think that's what keeps me here.
There's a lot of talent, and then like I'm sure you picked up on it, like where, you know, like I've always tried to get like big guests, and one day I would like to have that. But then what worked was bringing on people locally because of schedule. So I would always try and do a couple guests and then try and get a bigger guest. And then like when I kind of stopped doing that and just leaned into the valley, you start realizing how many talented people are here. And there's people here that are big guests, and they might not be to other people, but like, to me, it's like, well, these people should be known in the area because these are also other people that are trying to make this bigger than it is and like make it an actual area, which then we'd probably all would complain about if it happened. But
this is true.
Yeah, like this damn city. I miss the old days of in the basement. Yeah, but you know, there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on, and then it's like you start realizing how many people you don't know.
Right.
And then like, cause this network goes through, and then it's like, even the people I met through Shug, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't know these people were around. And then you go through them, and then it's like, holy shit, like there's still so many people in this area that are trying to do so many stuff. Like the girl who came on 2 weeks ago, Easton Tomato Girl, like she's just obsessed with tomatoes.
I love her.
She's so cool. And then I was just like, all right, well, that's challenging. I'll talk to her for an hour about tomatoes. And then like when I found out like, she cares about tomatoes as much as you care about your page or I care about the podcast. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then you just find other people in the valley who are like obsessed with like just creativity and being who they want to be. And then like that's, to me, is like those are the people that stand out. And there's so many that like I don't need to really go anywhere else for people.
Yeah, it's great. And like even like the collection of like foodies that I've met, like I've met so many foodies and like so many people, and then like people through those foodies, and like it's just a great network. And I wasn't like the most social person up until like the past probably like year or two. So
you can't tell.
everybody says that now, but
even when you came to pick up food, you're like, hey everybody.
I know. It took me a very long time to get here. So I love when people tell me they can't tell, because no, you can tell that like you're breaking through. Like okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you can.
I've been there. I'm. It's funny because I tell people all the time. It's like I'm a very shy person. I'm a very. I don't like being like. I don't like interacting with people, and then like I forced myself through bartending, and then I became good at interacting with people. And bartending is what first kind of took the first wave off, and then from doing this, it just kind of like I find even now I still get weird though, but like you know what I mean? Because like you can't make that go away, and that comes on and it'll just go. And then you're just like, hey, what's up? And it just like, you know.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So
I'm right there with you. But I love the weird. I love,
yeah.
That's something I fully like try to embrace. Like I try not to ever try like I don't try to be somebody else. Like I'm best at being myself. And like the people that like me are going to like me. And like that's just it. And like, I love that weirdness. Like I love like just funny, like loud, like it's someone specific. I know you know Nice Slice, and he's him and his stories like on Instagram and stuff.
Instagram.
Yeah, like he's just so funny. Like, but I love people like that. Like I love the weirdness, and it makes me feel like I can embrace my weirdness, and like, you know, I love it.
When you first started getting into taking the photography of your food, did you enjoy the challenge that it is to like take pictures of food? Because it's like I didn't really start getting better at taking pictures until I started taking pictures all the time, and that was primarily when I started going hiking. And then I like really understood like how to use my camera and move angles, and like even when we were at the Pats thing, like I saw you had a light and I was like, she's taking a million pictures. So like how was that for you to kind of start developing that craft, because you have a specific way all your stuff looks? Like how was that for you on a creative aspect? Was it like something that you got enjoyment out of making, you know, a really good post? Because there is a fulfillment, I believe, when you know, like when I took a picture at Brian's of that hamburger, I was like, that picture's gonna kill. Like, but it's not the easiest thing to do is to take a really good picture of food. Especially, I can't take pictures of salads, so like, and I've tried. But like, what was that like for you to develop the craft of the beginning of your Instagram all the way to where it is now?
Well, it's definitely progressed. So anybody can go back and look at my old pictures, because I've definitely come a long way. So, I enjoy like the actual that's honestly probably my favorite part, is taking the photos and like the content creation part of it. Like learning everything. It was about like learning what I liked in a photo, because for so long I think I was like hung up on, wow, that's a great photo, like my photos need to look like that. And I kind of got away from that and just focused on more like, what did I like from the photo? Because I want other people to enjoy my photos, but I want to put out work that I truly love. So I love doing it. And like, I learned that I love natural light, and I like wouldn't go to any restaurants unless I could get natural light. And I was like, I'm over this. And then I like researched about a light. Yeah. And now you see me out there with my light.
But it's smart, because there's nothing worse than when you want to document what you're doing. Because like how I do stuff now is like, I'm always creating content. So it's like when I go out or I go somewhere, probably before I go, I have a feeling of whether or not I'm going to document what I'm doing when I'm out. And then like I can now continue to put that through like my stories and my posts, and like you got to keep it going for algorithm's sake. So like when you get somewhere and like you know the food's going to be awesome, and you kind of want to like put it out there, and you take a picture and you can't even save it with the editing, the lighting, like that's terrible. Right. Like what was that like when you first started kind of stepping into like understanding that you're further on with the photography end of it?
What do you mean?
Like, you know, you like develop the craft, right? So in the beginning, you're just taking pictures, and it's like when you got to the part with like changing your lighting and all that, and like you started changing your pictures, did you find that like you felt further on with what you were doing? Was it kind of like a mark of like where you were as a content creator?
Yeah, I kind of feel like that. I feel like I was like doing a little better. That feeling of feeling like I'm further on, though, it didn't come with me like using a light. Like it didn't come with the beginning of the photography, like getting better at photos. It honestly came probably within the past like 2 to 3 years. So like later in the whole thing, probably even like the past 2 years. But there's like a moment, and even honestly, to correct myself again, but in the past year has probably been the most. But receiving recognition from other people, and like people coming up to me and noticing me, and like acknowledging me and sending me messages like, oh, like, do you have recommendations, or I saw you posted this, like that's what really took me to the next level, like internally. Like I'm like, okay, wow, this is maybe you know, more, I feel like it is the next step. It's more because like for me, like when I'm posting and like I'm taking photos, and it kind of just feels like it's just me. Like I know I have my 10,600 something followers, but it's still just me on the other side of that like phone and like the camera taking those photos. So to have other people like be like, oh wow, I like recognize your face, and I follow, or I look at your page and see where you go, so I can decide where I want to go out to eat. That's really when I was like, wow. And like it's been happening way more often, and I love when people come say hi to me. I'm super weird, like I said, but I love it. It's a cool feeling. It's a cool feeling.
When you started, I noticed when we were at, I believe it was Retriever, and you took the food outside, and you were taking pictures of it. And I know I didn't realize until I stopped caring about what people thought around me, and that was a hurdle to get over, where the awkwardness of standing up and taking pictures. And then like, I guess this is kind of also going back to what I was saying earlier, but it's like I would leave a restaurant and I'd be like, man, I really wanted to take a picture of that painting, but I let the people around me make me feel like I'm weird for taking pictures. How long did that take for you to kind of just not care? Because it took a while for me.
Yeah, that was by far one of the hardest things, and I still struggle with it sometimes, because I'll be like, ooh, it's really dark in here, like I really feel bad whipping out this light right now. But,
yeah.
But I'm like,
I never even thought of that light's like a UFO now.
It really is. It's so bright. But I mean, at first sometimes I wouldn't do it. I would just not do the light.
But it's a weird car ride home when you don't do that, because like when I do my stuff, like I give people my perception of like, because I'm like, that's where when you develop the craft of the taking the pictures, you're making it look how it looks in your head, which isn't easy to do. But when you start doing that, it feels so good to be like, that's cool, like I want to show it this way. And then when people are like, yo, I really like your pictures, there's comfort in knowing that you're presenting it the way that you see it. Right. So like when you allow other things around you to not do that, like it's like sometimes I'm like, man, I really wanted to take that picture.
Right.
And then you're like, why didn't I do that? I don't care what these people think. I'm a weirdo to begin with. Why am I hiding it?
No, you honestly, like, you nailed it, because that's exactly how it was for me. And like, I would leave and then I would feel that disappointment. Like, why did I let other people change, like, make me feel like that, even though no one's saying anything?
Nope.
Like, no, it's literally just
no
me
one
creating,
noticed me.
right? Like, it's me creating this, and then now I'm not gonna have this photo, and like, I really love this item, but I'm not gonna have this photo. And that didn't take me one car ride or two or three. I mean, we're talking
years.
Years of me doing this. And I mean, I reached a point where I had to like ask myself, what do you care more about? Do you want to feel this disappointment every time, or are you just going to say screw it and just take the photos and not worry about it? And honestly, probably the past 6 to 9 months is where I've gotten real comfortable. Like,
same.
Like, yeah. Now I'm just like, boop, take it out, do it.
Yep. Don't care.
And another factor, I think, is that the foodie community is growing around here.
Absolutely.
So it's becoming much more common for people to bring out a light, for people to like do that. So when people see it, like I was at a restaurant, and like the people that worked there, they're like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, people are interested in, and I always thought people would be bothered by it, because like, you're doing this, and like people are trying to eat. So people are really starting to like appreciate it. And yeah, I don't care. I try not to care what people think. That's something I've always dealt with, as not even just with like the food and the light situation. I've always cared what people think. And I always felt like people were like watching me and judging me. And I think this food and like the light and all the like things really helped me grow.
Yeah.
I really did. And like, I believe in continuing to do the thing that you don't want to do until it gets easier for you and you become more comfortable and better at it. And that's exactly what happened here.
Because it's like, in a weird way, it's like Instagram's my biggest thing that I love to use. And it's like, if I look at like what Instagram's done since I started using it, it's definitely made me like more comfortable as an artist, or more comfortable as a content creator, because like people are liking you with, like, you know what I mean? It's not an in-person thing. So if you're like behind a wall and like, you don't want the recognition for it or anything, you start slowly developing like, oh, cool. Like, and then you're like alone giving yourself credit for something you don't want. I don't want to hear it from other people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are like, hey, you're doing awesome. Like, cool, thanks. I just get uncomfortable. But like, for me to allow myself to grow by doing it one-on-one with myself and Instagram, it's really done wonders for like the confidence of like and it's funny that, because it's been that recent for you, where it's just recent for me, where like I'll tell my friends now, like, hey, I got to take a picture of this, don't touch it yet. And then like I've developed a pretty fast system of doing that, where I'll take 3, and then like I don't want to be like, dude, what are you doing? But like, I never did that stuff before. I'd just sit there and be like, that'd be a good picture. Where now it's like, I don't care. And sometimes I don't do it at all, where they'll be like, yo, are you taking a picture? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything today. But it's like, until you get to that point of pushing yourself past the uncomfortableness of doing it, like that's why I wanted to bring it up, because it's just, I guess, unless you're taking pictures all the time in public alone, you don't understand it. But for anyone who's trying to do, just even to express themselves creatively, it's like you shouldn't care at all what other people think, because you want to take a picture.
Right, exactly. Like, what a shame it would be to waste your life and not do the things that you enjoy because you felt like you were being judged, or you cared more about what other people thought. So it's just always reminding myself, I still struggle, I still have my moments.
Same.
Everybody has their moments. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect. But I just don't want to like waste this time and, my life. So I'm just doing the things that make me happy and try not to care what other people think.
How did you feel, or like, when did you start developing it as something like, because in the beginning you just kind of put it out there, but then you start realizing the followers, but then you also start realizing that you enjoy doing it, and then it's like there could be a business that's created out of it. And like, when did you kind of realize that you had something special to you, that you could kind of like put this much time and effort into a project and keep going with it?
It's probably been like 3 to 4 years that like I've really...
How long have you been doing it total? 7, you said?
6 years.
6.
Yeah, so about 6 years now. Probably about like 4, it became a little more serious, and then 3, I like invested more into it. But there are many aspects like that I could turn this more into a business. Like it has benefits. But in the beginning of this year, I was really struggling with like, I felt a push to like turn it into even more of a business. Like there's other ways that I could be earning money, and I felt I just didn't feel right. Like I wasn't enjoying it, and it almost made me I don't know, dislike it in a way, because it felt forced, and it felt like I needed, like, the next step was like to make more money from it. And one weekend, like I had a weekend, and then I just came out on a Monday, and I was like, I like had this realization that I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to turn it into any other, like, I know there might be money on the table, but like, that's not why I do this. And I do it because I love it, and I do it because I love the people in this area, and I love Lehigh Valley, and I just have to remind myself the intentions I have behind this. So the moment I decided that I was not going to do certain business things that I was thinking about, I just felt relief. It was like on it, and people I've heard in my life, oh, like I felt this relief, this moment, but like that had never happened for me, and that was that very first time I was like, wow. I don't think that I should be taking, like, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing here. And, I mean, there's nothing much to say about that, but I'm just happy. I'm happy with my choice. I'm very happy.
Yeah. It's gotta be freeing. I mean, I've had opportunities and things, even recently with, doing things with the podcast. And like, I started going down an avenue that I thought maybe I would want, or that would be something that would be an answer to what, the unknown of like what I could do with this. And then I did it for 3 months, and I look back on it now, and it's just like I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore. And other people were involved, and I didn't like the direction of way things were going, and then they started changing my vision on things. And then you start realizing how important your vision is on it, whether you're taking a picture of food or whether you're presenting yourself to other people, and that it's more to you than a paycheck to give somebody that vision. And then like I was just like I don't know if it goes parallel with what you went through, but like I just felt uncomfortable, and it was the first time I ever didn't feel like I was being genuine in what I do here. And then when I walked away from it, same thing. It was like a relief. And then like, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And what you're doing is what you should be doing. And if you keep doing that, things will come down, but there'll be things that you wanted because you're doing what you want, and not things that other people think that they can get out of you to grow themselves. And then when I walked away from that, that's when I was just kind of like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't do that. But it's a weird place to be in, especially I'm sure for yourself with your natural growth of how the page progressed. And then, there's opportunities and stuff that come out. But like, with what you said about how you are, it shows through your social media 100%.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's that's my goal. And one of the things that's so hard for me is watching other people, like other foodies and like other people in the Valley, like starting those business ventures. And I feel like it's such a pressure for me, but it makes me want to, but I always have to remind myself, like, that's not what you want. And like, just because someone else is doing something, like, you don't need to do that. And I'm really happy with how the page is going. And like, I love more than anything with my page, like I absolutely love all the people I have met. Like I cannot even begin to explain. Like I've met my best friend, high on eating, love her. I met her through this page. I've met so many foodies. I mean, I've met you. I've met, we love local stone. We love good pizza. Like I've met so many great people, and it's just been such a life-changing thing for me, and I just remind myself that's why I do it, and continue to do it for those reasons.
Because it's like when you meet people, and I've met so many people, especially the pop-up community. I feel like that's grown in the last year or so, or just from I've seen, 'cause I've just been in it. But you start building relationships and foundations, and then those things move it a little bit. And then it's like, I start being like, oh, well, I end up doing like all these creative fun things. Like even like with what happened with where our pop-up went yesterday at Brian's, like I was like, yo, dude, like we could do this again and call it Garage Days and like put lawn chairs and tiki torches out and like put music out here. And he's like, yo, we could totally do that. And like, that's what I do this for, because like I have a creative itch, and when you push things like yourself, it's like you obviously like creating, and you obviously like being expressive, and you obviously like doing all the things that you do. So it's like to have other people come in or move stuff around or to take business ventures, it's like, yeah, they might seem to make sense, but the core of why you do it, or why a lot of people even come on here, is because it's like it expresses like who you are. And it's like that's one of the main reasons I wanted to bring you on, is because you express who you are through your social media, and you're not arrogant about it, and you do really good stuff for the community and different things, and you do highlight things. Like that's the first time I've ever really wanted to go to an Iron Pigs game. When you showed up, I was like, I could go get beers and eat at an Iron Pigs game.
Yes, you should.
So like, you know, all the hard work you're doing is you're expressing it very clearly. So like, to take that away from you, I feel like you wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it was. Like I just love being able to do this when I want it, how I want it, and I don't want to answer to anybody, or have to meet expectations. Like I just want to meet my own expectations. And like I even now, like when I'm not posting for businesses, or when I'm not posting for partnerships, I just don't honestly care about the likes. Like I'm just go on to the next one. And even even if things don't do great for one, I just move on. And like I can't care, because I'm one of those people, like stuff tears me apart.
Oh yeah.
Like, and even like this, I'm not gonna watch this, because I will tear it apart.
Yeah.
But like that's how I am. So I just try not to care like about that stuff at all anymore, because I just remember why I'm doing it. And a like doesn't matter, because people are still going to come to the page, and people are still going to reference it for going out to eat. And I mean, that's all that matters.
And a lot of people look and don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People scroll and don't like. And sometimes I'm like, guys, I can see how many people looked at this. Can we just click the like button?
Yeah. No, I mean, and like that's a trap in the beginning too, because it's like great advice for anybody who's trying to start anything on a social media platform. And I remember when I walked away from looking at likes and all that stuff. And it's cool when you just start getting the notifications. You're like, this is it. And then I'll look at it later, like when I'm by myself, and be like, yeah, doggy. But like for the most part, I can't let that dictate it, because once I stopped doing that and I just started hitting volume, and I was like, cool. Like the people who are liking all the time are now seeing more stuff, and I'm just gonna do it for them. And you know what I mean, like where I just was like I'll post here, because at one point I was like trying to do like what's the best time to post, there's definitely windows to hit, but then I started being like, I don't care if it's 12 and it's not popular to post, I'm posting. And like once I took that stress out and they started kind of like moving it, then like more people are showing up at pop-ups, more people are buying merch, and this is like cool, I'm just out there more. I'm not trying to stick to some algorithm of like a business format, and I'm like, I'm not doing that for any of this. I like to put stuff out.
Right. Like I get it. Like I get like if people want to focus on that, but it's not for me. And like my account has grown like really well with just like my content. Like I do focus on the time of day I post, but I'm not stressed with it. Like I have a huge window.
Yeah.
And honestly, if
it's way better to do it that way.
Right. Exactly. And like even like if I miss it, like these past two. What's the day? Today's Saturday?
I don't know.
The past 2 weeks, I haven't been posting as much, and it's been so nice, like just to be like, I'm just not gonna put up anything today, and just because I feel like it, and like I need those breaks, and like I love, like I said, being able to make that choice and not have to be like, well, no, you need to do this today, and it's been going great. No complaints.
When did you start realizing the following, like growing? Because like it had to have gotten to a point where you're like, holy shit, like what was the number where you hit? Because I know you recently did hit 10K. So like what was the kind of the first one where you saw it where you were like, holy shit, like this, like was it around like 7,000 or was it before that?
I mean, when I hit 1,000, I remember vividly remember back when I would still work in the office, because this is not my job obviously. When I would work in the office, I remember walking down the hallway being like, I hit 1,000. Like that is where it was so cool for me. But I don't think I have any memorable like growth points that besides the 10,000. The 10,000 was a big one. To get that K, 10.6K, like it was a good feeling. And like I said, like it's so weird because it still just feels like me. Like it could say 500,000 and it just feels like it's me there. And I don't know. I love the fact that so many people follow me. It's so cool because then more people get to see me and talk to me, and I just, again, I love the people aspect of this whole thing. What's
your favorite food?
My favorite food, mashed potatoes. I know. Potatoes. So
where do you go for who is the best mashed potatoes in the valley?
No, we do homemade. I'm sorry. No, homemade for sure. Because I make the best my kitchen myself. I make them because my grandmother, when I was younger, we always used to go over every other Sunday, and it was meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and corn.
Yeah.
It was a vibe. But so now, like, I've taken that into adulthood. Like, I literally love mashed potatoes. I don't eat as many because I'm not trying to look like a potato anymore, but I love them. And, you know, I love to put different things in them. I love to make them creamy. I love to make them chunky. Like, I literally could go on about mashed potatoes.
That's why I was asking. I mean, you're not going to step on anyone's toes. Who highlights mashed potatoes in the Valley? Where can you get good mashed potatoes? You obviously order them when you're out.
I actually don't. That's the thing.
Because at home's better?
Yeah, and I love to try different things when I go out.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing is, like, I'm always, when I get a menu, or, you know, I usually look ahead before I go to a restaurant, I'm always like, what's the most unique thing? Sometimes I'll even ask, what do people not order? Like, what's the uncommon thing?
Well, that's a good transition here. So what is your process before you go out to a restaurant, or what you choose? So, like, do you kind of just start looking things up? Do you research it? Like, tell us kind of like the whole process of before you go somewhere and do the whole post and everything.
Yeah. So I have a huge list. So anytime I find any restaurant, or I see an article about a new one, or I find a new Instagram page, I have a list. So, like, I add it to my list. I have a location, and then when I'm ready to go, I will look through the restaurants, and I will look at the menus. I'll always look to see what they have. I look to see, like, do they have brunch? Do they have drinks? Do they have, like, find everything? And then I look at menu items. And for doing this so long, I'm pretty good at determining what's going to be photogenic or not. So that has a big factor in where I go. Like, you don't usually see me a lot like American, like, sports bars and stuff like that. Some of them are good, but, like, I don't want to waste my time, you know, like, I only have so much money and time to go out to places. So I try to make sure I'm going to get something that's going to be photo worthy. So I do, like, research on that, and then I go. And then I, you know, try to get as many things as I can. I usually don't get a lot of entrees unless I go to brunch, because I love ordering small plates and, like, apps and, like, stuff like that, because then I get to try more. There's usually more creative things when it comes to the small plates and, like, apps versus, like, you know, your chicken dinner or something. But
yeah, I mean, it makes sense now that you point that out, because if you get an entree, you're just getting your sides. Where you get the different stuff, and that's usually how, or we'll split, like, a burger, and then, like, we'll get other stuff. Like, I don't know. I go out with my buddy Jer, and that's kind of where food started with me, as far as, like, appreciating and liking. And then he goes out all the time because he's traveling, and he's like, well, let's get this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, how? And he's like, well, we're gonna split that, and then we can get this and this. And I was like, more food. yes
Isn't it so weird how, like, society makes you feel like you have to get, like, an app and 2 entrees and, like,
we were just talking about that in life in general. It's
right.
Like what people tell you should expect out of things.
Exactly. And, like, once you just open your mind to the fact that you can literally just go there and get 16 desserts if you want to. Like, you're just like, the possibilities are endless. And, like, my best friend, like, we will go to brunch and, like, we will get, you know, like, we'll get our eggs Benedict or whatever, but we'll also get pancakes because, why the fuck not? Like, why not? Like, you can do both. We are adults. No one is telling you you can't do this.
It's weird because, like, I didn't start breaking that habit till I was with him, and then now I do it to other people, and then they're like, yeah, we can split stuff, because, like, we'll go to breakfast, and there's usually with breakfast, like, we'll go over to the breakfast table a lot. Like, they're regulars over there, so, like, they got 3 specials and they're all home runs, but then you always want the lemon ricotta pancakes. So he was like, look, the last time we went, he's like, let's get this and we'll split it. We're gonna tell them they're splitting it, so they're gonna separate it on 2 plates. And he's like, then we'll get the lemon ricotta pancakes and cut it down the middle. And I was like, why wouldn't you do that? And then the waitress was cool with everything. She's like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, well, we want to eat a little bit more, and he wants to try stuff, so we're going to split this special, and can we just have 2 plates, and then we're going to split the pancakes as well. And they're like, cool, you want anything out before that? And I'm like, should we? And he's like, no. It's tough with pancakes. You get filled up. But, like, when you start thinking in that way, and, like, that's another thing that I think is cool, and it's probably happened with you. It's like where you start going out to eat all the time, you start breaking the boundaries of like what people tell you should do at a restaurant. Like what you were saying, like, oh, well, I'm just going to order the weirdest stuff. Or like sometimes I'll like, even when I went to Giacomo's the other day, Sal's like, what do you want? And I'm like, I want the cheesesteak how you want it. And he's like, what? And I'm just like, how you get it? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you eat? You've eaten these a million times. And I think he got Cooper and red onion. And I've never ordered that. And then now you start getting into stuff where like, because I've cooked in kitchens, so I'll be like, yo, what do you guys make that's like off menu? And then if you develop these relationships and you can kind of start getting like really cool experiences at places where people just order the same shit all the time.
Right, exactly. And even I partner with Chop Fin over in Cedar Crest for a sushi burrito. So I came up like with what I felt was like a super unique, like weird combination and put that together. And now it's on the menu there. So you can order that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was like a cool thing. But like I went and I was like, I want to do the thing. Like, what do people not put together? I still want it to taste good, obviously. But like I'm all about that and like just doing like the weird thing. And I love that idea of asking people how they order.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something I do, but I get the like idea, like ideology, whatever. I get the idea behind it because then you're like, oh, well, I wouldn't think this is nothing that I would order, but then you get it and you're like, wow, this is really great. And now like maybe you're going to order that for like that next time.
Yeah. Like Sal's been there for 30 years, like making cheesesteaks. So it's like, cause I've worked in kitchens. So it's like you eat the same stuff every day. So, I mean, when you started working at a kitchen, you go through the menu. And then I remember like working with like really talented people at just like hole in the wall, like delis and stuff like that like where I was like, oh man, like these people know so much. And that's primarily where I started really learning how to cook was like, yo, what do you want to make today? And I remember like somebody making me, like they worked at a diner. So he's like, yo, I can make us a great chicken salad. And then he's like putting grapes in it. And I'm just like, and then so like I took all these different things that other people I've learned to make different food that I like. But like when you're in a kitchen like that and you eat the same stuff all the day, you're just out of boredom. You're pushing the boundaries of what it is. Because I asked the other guy who cooked, I was like, yo, what do you want? And Sal's like, you don't want his cheesesteak. So the next time I go in there, I'm going to be like, yo, can you make it how you make it? And then now you start getting food that, you know, and I'm not telling anyone to go into Giacomo's and do this. I'm just saying, like, sometimes when you're ordering, asking a suggestion as to how they have it gives you a unique experience in the restaurant or where you're getting a sandwich.
Exactly. Yeah. It gives you good insight. And who doesn't like, I mean, I love trying new things. Like, it's so cool. And like, I always go, like, one of my things is like, I feel like no one doesn't like not like something. Maybe they just don't like how it's always been prepared for them. So like I'm a strong believer in like I might order something and sometimes people will be like, oh, like I didn't like that, or like I ordered it and it wasn't good. But I'm just like, that's okay. Like you don't need to like everything because I like a lot of things, but I just like everything is good and everybody has their own taste. So I'll post something because I like it, and it's okay if other people don't like it. And I mean that's something that people learn, because people will be like, oh no, this is just like, this is not a good food item, like, but it's not, because, or I mean, it is, because I forget what
No, I know what you're saying. One of the things I can't stand is when you put a post out and then somebody's like, oh, I had that, it was terrible. And I'm like, cool, I'm promoting. I delete the comments now. Yeah. And if it happens often, I have no problem blocking people. I used to be like, maybe I shouldn't do that. I'm way past putting up with like a moment of somebody pissing me off where like I promoted Widows the other day. And then some guy was like, Widows, haven't been there in a while. Always disappointed with that place. And I'm like, bro, I just wrote out a thing promoting the business and said I was friends with the owner, and you think that what I would want to hear from you is that you disliked Widows. Right. But it's the same thing. I don't know what you ordered. I don't know what you did. I don't know what was going on that day. I don't know who was in the kitchen. Like, their entire kitchen staff has changed in the last year. You can't judge anything by you went there 5 years ago and had a bad experience. And also, I'm not asking you. Like,
exactly.
I'm just, and then like, it's like, dude, do you even follow anything I'm doing? I'm trying to promote places through my eyes and to put people onto different things. I didn't ask you to just shit all over a business. And it happens more often than people would think. I delete a lot of it. Well, I delete all of it now.
It does. Yeah, no, I for sure just delete any comments. I honestly don't get too many, But yeah, I will delete it because it's not worth it. Sometimes I want to respond, but I gather myself.
Yeah, responding will take you down a rabbit hole of just refreshing with anxiety. You want to argue with me,
and I don't want to be seen as that person. That
it's also a waste of time,
right? Like
and energy.
Exactly. Why would I want to give these people my energy? Like, I can't believe they had the energy to even come on here and say these things. But like, no, I have more important things to do. And yeah, I mean, like if like if I like raw fish and like people will not like raw fish and like people will say things, but it's like. I can like whatever I want. Or if I want my burger like crispy and well done, but you think that it should be medium rare, like I'll go for it. Like it literally doesn't matter. Nope. Like it doesn't matter. If I like it,
they wouldn't be asking what temp do you want.
Right. Like none of this stuff actually matters. And people like get so butthurt about things, and it's not freaking worth it.
And judge you. Like, did you see that she likes a well done burger? What a terrible person she is.
Yeah, right? Like, oh my gosh. Like she obviously has no food taste. One time years ago, I went and got like cheese curds from Buffalo Wild Wings, which I don't do a lot of chain restaurants. This was years ago, and I posted it, and
sometimes I do chain restaurants just to be fun. I did one of Applebee's or something. Like wrote this big thing about how intimate it was.
do you?
Yeah.
But honestly, like I don't do them anymore. But when I posted it, like this is years ago, and I still remember this. Someone commented that I must not have good taste because I went there.
Yeah.
And like obviously that stuck with me. So like it, as hurtful as that was, because I do have good taste. I know I have good taste. Yeah. But I believe that I also believe that some people might not like a restaurant, but sometimes they have good thing, like a good item, or like it's not like everything there is bad, and it's just like. Why take the time to be mean to people?
Yeah, and who cares if you went to Buffalo Wild Wings? I'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings just because sometimes I'll just stop at a bar and then just for a moment to myself. Like I just because I'll hit that up if I'm over at Wegmans, and then I'm like, oh, I have like an hour to kill. I'm like, I'm just going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, get a tall beer. Usually there's an entertaining bartender who's like miserable with their life, and I can relate to them.
Naturally.
But then if you go there a couple times, they're like, the people are cool. They're just stuck there, and they're like trying to do other stuff. So like, I'll be like, what are you up to? But it's like, there's usually one thing on the menu, and then I'll just kind of hang out and talk to a bartender who's not busy because it's a weird hour of the day, and I'll be like, bye. But like, it doesn't mean I'm a loser because I stopped at Buffalo Wild Wings for a beer.
Right. Or it doesn't mean you don't make good food. Like, look at your burgers. Your burgers are so good. Yesterday was the first time I had one.
Yeah, I thought you had them before. I thought you stopped by, and then I was like kind of nervous. I get nervous when anyone eats them because I'm like, even when Brian had it, I'm like, I think I put too much salt on it. He's like, shut up.
Yeah, right.
Or I'm like, I think the mayo tastes a little different than the last time. Would you like to taste it? And he's like, dude, shut up. He's like, they're awesome burgers. I don't know. I get weird with making food for people, so I just thought I'd open a restaurant.
Mine as well, right? Gotta do it to get better at it. No, I am exactly the same way. So I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, we talked beforehand. I didn't realize how much we actually had in common, and then because I didn't know what to expect with you coming down, and you've obviously loosened up by this point, but I was like, I wonder how nervous she's gonna be, and like. I have to be alert when I think someone's going to be, but when we talked, I was like, oh, I'm like, you're like really cool. I'm like, there's a lot here where is way more in common than most guests that come on. What do you like with like drinks and stuff like that? Like, what's your kind of go-to with that? We kind of covered like your favorite food. What do you like to pair with food? Are you a wine girl? I mean, I enjoy, the watermelon seltzer is way better than the other one, so this is my new fave. But I mean, do you like your seltzers? You kind of like just any drink? You know, what do you like to pair with?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I won't drink. But if we're talking like my favorites, when I go to a restaurant, I typically love to go for an old fashioned. I don't love sweet drinks, so like that's like an easy one for me. I just like to sip on it, and then if after an old fashioned. If we're talking cocktails still, I want to go for what's like the most unique and like again, what's the super weird thing that I can get. I went to the PA house that just opened in Hellertown.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I went the back way to go pick up my mountain bike because I took it to Saucon Valley, and when I was like, oh, that's where she was posting at, but I didn't know that was tucked away over there. What was that before?
Ooh, I don't know what it was. I think it was a garage. like
yeah,
of some
it's very
sort.
cool. There's a shitload of people outside. I think whatever day it was one day this week it was nice out. It was that day.
Yeah, I know they have some outdoor dining. It's a beautiful restaurant. Like the outside, they did such a great job at keeping like the garages and like keeping that like cool, I guess like industrial.
No, it had a very industrial vibe, and I just
yeah.
kind of caught it at a glance, and I was like, oh, that's a place I'd like to hang out. I like vibes like that.
Yes, yeah, and like when you go when the sun's setting, the sun hits the side of like the doors and like the glass, and it's just like beautiful.
Do you, in your opinion, do you feel Hellertown's growing? Because I just started really getting like a lot of people because people will tell me where to go to eat, and because I love the Crossroads. Their chili dog's ridiculous. But like I started talking to other people, and someone was like, "Oh, you gotta check out the Drip," and then I was like, "Okay," and then somebody else was like, "Hey, you should go here." Then when I saw you post it, I was like, "Yeah, there's like 6 places to go now." Where before, because I would go down to Hellertown I pick up my burger meat at Sailor's. So like when I go there, I try and kind of hang out there, and I usually just go to the Crossroads. There was a coffee shop that turned into a hot dog place or something. It was a hot dog place that turned into a coffee shop, so I don't go there anymore. But there wasn't really anywhere to me to pick from. And then I don't know if it was just my ignorance to the area, but like the more people keep posting, I'm like, yo, what's up, Hellertown? I'm like, you're starting to shine a little bit.
It's definitely growing. It's so funny because after I posted the PA house last week, someone literally almost an identical conversation because they're like, oh, Hellertown's growing. What other places are around here? Like, and there are for what it is for like such a small area. It has some great places. I mean, you have the PA House, you have Le Kang Noodle Bar, which I highly recommend.
I didn't know that was there.
Oh my god,
where's that?
Right on Main Street. I don't know.
What's
exactly
it by?
I'm not
what?
good.
There's what's the brewery down there?
Lost Tavern.
Lost Tavern.
Love it there.
Yeah, I get lost because I'll be like, am I going too far? Like once I pass Lost Tavern, like I feel like I left the area.
I don't know. I honestly, I'm a big GPS person, so I just pop that baby
big
in the
Garmin
GPS.
gal. You like your Garmin?
Oh, I mean my iPhone, my Google Maps, baby. Yeah, no, I'll go down the road and I'll put that in just in case I don't want to get lost. So I don't know exactly where it is, but it's not. If it's not as far as I don't know. It's not too far though, for sure. And that is great because Le Kang has a restaurant in Easton, and this is like their sister restaurant, and this is like just the noodle bar. Highly recommend because the food is phenomenal. Yeah, that's a great spot.
I'm pumped because I go into Hellertown quite a bit.
Oh yeah, and like they're all on the main road. I mean, you have like Limon, as you say it, for like the Turkish restaurant.
I've never
that
been
one's
there.
really good.
I love
too.
Turkish food too.
Yeah, their food's fire. That one's great. You have like. There's like pizza. Is it De Mayo's or something over by Dolce Patisserie? For like you can get like macaroons, you can get like little desserts, and like I love that stuff. So there's some great spots, and I just like anything else, I think it's just going to continue to grow and get some really cool spots over there. But yeah, Lost Tavern, to touch back on, that is my favorite brewery in the Lehigh Valley.
Whoa,
it's my favorite.
What's your favorite thing about it? Is it like the service, the beer, the location, the food trucks? What do you like about it?
I mean the beer in general, because like honestly I love both locations. They have their Hellertown location, and then they have the tap room in Bethlehem with Rendezvous. And
I didn't know they had a tap room in Bethlehem.
Yeah, right on Main Street next to the like Moravian bookstore right there. Yeah, I love both of them though. Both locations are awesome, and they're like their own vibe. But their beer is just so good. Like they always put out amazing beers, and they're like pumping them out like with like all of like the holidays and like all of the things. They always like have cool beers, and they're like packed with flavor. Like I cannot stand when I read a beer and it's like, oh, it's conditioned with this and it's got this and all of these things, and then you taste it and you're like, I don't get a single note, anything that you're explaining to me. But they nail it every single time. Like they have this carrot cake beer that they had. I feel like they might have it again eventually, but oh my god, like I had it, and like it sounds, you're like, ooh, carrot cake beer, but then I had it and it was amazing. And I love their beer. But yeah, their service is always good. I've never had a bad experience. Their food with over at Bethlehem, since they have Rendezvous, like that's such a cool vibe. Like I've heard mixed people say mixed things, but for me personally, I think it is so cool that you can go get high end like amazing sushi and then have a beer with it. Yeah, like that's cool for me because it doesn't, not everywhere has to be the same. Like why does it have to just be?
And when you hit up as many spots as you kind of look for the angles on what makes things different and unique. Right. And then a lot of times either people kind of recreate the same stuff, and then it's like you kind of see when like people get stuck in like genres and like like what's hip, and then you kind of see people who like step off to the right or left, and those are my favorite spots. Or finding a spot that nobody knows about where it's like a bodega, or like if you start heading up north and you have like your general stores that have like such a basic hoagie, but it reminds me of what you got in high school, and you're like, yo, like then that's when you really start seeing how much food's really out there.
Yeah, stuff like that's so cool. Like I love being able to try all those different things and finding those little spots, because I'll have people who will tell me they're like, I love how you go to those like off the track places, and yeah, because I love it. Like I'll go to those little places in Allentown and that people aren't going to because they have great food, and it's so cool to try those different things and support everybody and every business owner in our community.
It's cool when you find spots like that. Like a friend of mine took me to Zandy's, and then across the street was Double Decker, and I was like, oh man, like this reminded me of like when I was a kid, and like you would go look for records, and then you would like go get something to eat, and then like when you find like little areas, and then you find like the other things that are to do like in a small area, and it all comes together. I think those are like my favorite finds, where you're like you see yourself like taking a bunch of quick pictures, because it's like you can almost see the day you could have just kind of going by what's around the area. It's like it's really cool being able to go do stuff where you're taking pictures and promoting things, because you get to just kind of see a bunch of stuff, or you force yourself to kind of go out and like experience what they really want you to experience.
Right. And like I feel like my page has helped me find so many other places, because I'm always wanting to find somewhere different. Like I don't want to just go to the same restaurant. I rarely go to the same restaurant twice. So it's like it keeps pushing me and challenging me to find those different places, and find those places that have things I've never tried before, and showing those to other people, because like you didn't even you didn't know the restaurant was there on Hilltown. Yeah. So
and then I get excited. Yeah. I'm like, yo, what do they got?
Yes. You have new places. Like I love that. Like I love showing people the restaurants and all these cool places. And I just love it.
When did you think, it might've been earlier, but like, when did you realize that you kind of developed a palate and that you could taste, like when you were describing the beer and you were saying how like it doesn't taste the way it is, like, from personal experience, I didn't realize it was happening until you're just eating and drinking so much, and you're cooking all the time, and then you start being able to actually taste. Like I used to see people on TV be like, this is this, and that. And I'm like, how do they do that? And then from baking, cooking, bagels, burgers, going to all these spots, now I'm like, oh, well, I can taste that. And I'm like, I'm not afraid to tell people that I can taste stuff either. Like, I'm like, no, I actually taste that. That is what it is. I do like this better because I'm tasting garlic in it and stuff like that. Like, how long did it take you to develop that, or was it just something you always had?
I feel like it's just something I've always had, but I also don't feel like I'm very confident with it still. Like yesterday, like Brian wanted me to try that pizza, and like I feel like I know that like I eat good food, and like I know what I like, but I just feel like I still struggle with the confidence in being like, oh, like you're coming to me and asking me how this is. Like I just like why do you want my opinion? Like that is an aspect that I still struggle with, but I obviously need to address it and work through it, which I am. I gave feedback, and I think
it's hard telling people. It's different explaining to somebody like you did, where you were talking about a beer, when then somebody like Brian being like, do you like it?
Yeah.
He's very forward. What does it need to be fixed?
Exactly. And like I don't want, because I like things like how I like it, so I'm like nervous like that if I'm like, here, you should do this, and then people aren't gonna like it because like you took my feedback.
Yeah.
And but it doesn't mean my feedback's not good. It's a confidence thing for sure. And I think it ties hand in hand with the fact that I think that everybody isn't going to like the same thing.
Yeah, and everybody's palates. It's exactly what we were talking about earlier, where it's like everybody's totally different. Like, yeah, we both could like that slice that he had yesterday, but like what my feedback to him and what your feedback to him, it's not going to be the same thing, because everybody tastes everything, in my opinion, differently. It's just how it is. Some people like a little bit more salt. Some people like what my parents' generation thinks is healthy compared to what actually is at this point is, I'll go over, my mom's like, well, we're having turkey, and then I put gravy on it, and here's mashed potatoes and bread, and I'm like, this isn't healthy, Mom. I'm like, just because you have turkey on the plate. So like everybody's different in how they view things, how they see things, how they taste things. But it's interesting to talk to other people that just eat out all the time and try different things. And I don't know, it's something I didn't know I liked doing. And then the more I do it, I really am glad that I chose it as a lane to kind of like be creative in.
Yeah, I mean, with food, I feel like it's one of those things, and the reason why I love it so much is because the possibilities are endless. Like, they really are endless. Like, the combinations could continue to come out, and like new people are creating, new weird foods like as a whole, and like making just all sorts of things. And I think it's so cool to see what people can create and what people can put together. And it's like, you would never ever think that like, these things are good. Like last week at Serve, I had
that place is dope. That's tucked away over there too.
Yes,
that's a hidden gem. It's like a friend of mine took me there. I don't know when they opened last year, 2 years ago, and that's like a casino. It reminds me of like a casino restaurant. Like, it's really cool in there. And then I mean, because all I knew over there was Sammy's, and then the juice place opened up, and then I was like, all right, cool, there's 2 things over there. And then when they opened up, I was like, I had the food, because what did you get? The chicken
and waffles.
Yeah, that's what I got, because I saw it and was like, yo, I forgot how good that was. That's ridiculously good.
It is. And I was like, oh, I don't know, it's good.
I like the bar.
Yeah, the whole place inside. And we went when the sun was like setting, so like the sun would like come through and like hit those like big circle tables with like the little specks, and I was like, wow,
odd location, but hit a home run.
Yeah, the location, yeah,
but plenty of parking. But it's like I go over that way because I can go down Tatamy Road, like, you know what I mean, like, and then College Hill, if I'm going over to Giacomo's, it's kind of that way. But it's like really odd location, but absolutely crushed the atmosphere in there, the menu in there. It's a cool place.
It's super cool. Yeah, their chicken and waffles was so good, and they had this like a Brussels sprout. I don't know, was it a small plate or a medium plate? One of those, but they like had shaved Brussels sprouts that were charred, and then they had foie gras pieces in it, which was so cool. Like, I love foie gras, so that was like already like something I was drawn to. But like, I had never been served it like that, and we got it, and I was like, oh, interesting. This is different. Like, this is not how I would have expected this to be. But it was so good, and like I love moments like that.
Yeah.
And, some people, they would be like, oh, like I would never eat that, but it doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make it bad. I always try to stress that, and like I don't like when people talk negative about foods, because everybody's entitled to like what they want. So I love that place though. And yeah, the chicken and waffles, I know I've said it, I know you've said it.
Yeah,
like, get that chicken and
I've
waffles.
only been there once, and like I really want to go back. And like I said, like when I first went there, I was like, what is this place? Because it reminded me of like, I don't even know. It was like almost like a venue. It feels like, because of the way the parking is in the back. But then like when I went in there, I'm like, yo, this is like a casino. And then because we got a table, but I was like, I would come here and just hang out at the bar, because sometimes I'll just go do that stuff by myself to get away, and then it's just me. So like I'm not sitting at a table. I'd rather just do the bar thing, because I like talking to bartenders and whatnot. But that place is killer.
I love that place. And they also, I think they're like sister restaurants with Edge.
Yeah.
And that's another great. I haven't been there in years, but I love Edge too, because they have escargot, and you really can't find escargot in the Valley. There's only, I shouldn't say that many places, but I know Edge has it, and I know Maxim's 22 usually serves up a version of it. But I love escargot, like another one of those weird things that I'm like drawn to. I'm like, give me the weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when you're eating all the time and going out all the time, and then, you got to find something to kind of drift over to. Or I'll get into a mood where, like, I'll get into chicken, because I made, like, that's chicken sandwich the other day. So now I'm into, like, and then when I posted it, Matt McCall was like, yo, we got a killer Nashville chicken sandwich. And I know Matt's credibility in a kitchen and like what he does at the brewery. So I'm like, oh man. And then like Local Stone hit me up and was like, yeah, he's like, their chicken sandwich is ridiculous. Then somebody else told me that. So now I'm like, oh, I got to get back over to McCall's and pick through their menu and all that. So it's like right now I'm like in a hot chicken phase. So now I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll go here. I'll do that. Kind of started with hot dogs, where like I would just start like running down like who's got a better hot dog, who's got, and then cheesesteaks, all that stuff. Like I'll just kind of get I'll get like a category, and then I'll just kind of like zigzag through stuff in the Valley.
That's cool though. I totally get that. First, the McCall, the chicken sandwich, it is fire.
Yeah. Dude, not one person hasn't said it was.
It was probably my favorite thing that I've had there so far, since I've been there quite a few times. That's definitely my favorite. And what was the thing you just said before I said that?
Hot dogs?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Finding like a lane. Yeah. So a few years ago, like I was introduced to Eggs Benedict. I went crazy with the Eggs Benedict. Like every time I was like Eggs Benedict. So like,
what's the place on 191? Shit, it's I can't think of the name of it. They crush Eggs Benedicts nonstop.
I'm not good with roads, so I have no idea. But yeah, no, there's some great places. I know Blue, they have like fire Eggs Benedict. So many places have great Eggs Benedict. But I do the same thing.
Mitzi's Table.
Oh, okay, yeah. I love it there too. I like to do that though. Like I got on a ice cream kick a few summers ago where I was like getting all the ice cream.
Yeah.
But it's cool though because then you can kind of like do that and then you can like do that where you can and then switch to something else and then you can have like all these places that you've tried and recommend and which I love it. But then I stopped eating ice cream for a while.
Yeah. Well, I did that with pizza because pizza in Nazareth, like that's all that's here. It's like it's just the pizza places. So like. But I've had so much pizza, it's like, all right, well, Sicily's is awesome for margaritas. And then it's like Pizza Joe, of course, they're Sicilian. But then I started adding vodka sauce on it. And then, like, the vodka sauce on Pizza Joe's Sicilian is, like, ridiculous. But then, like, I went in there to get dinner. And then, like, they also have, like, entrees that are really good. And she's like, no one orders entrees because they're obsessed with the Sicilian. But we're also, like, crushing on this. But, like, I went through all the pizza in town. And it's like, but each, like, instead of being like, oh, fuck that place, fuck this place. I just started looking at food differently and I'm like, all right, cool. Well, Pizza Joe, in my opinion, has the best Sicilian. All right, cool. This place has the best round pie. And then like when you start looking at food like that and you stop being like, this place is better than that just because you want to yell about something to somebody, like it really opens up like a very freeing thing to be like, nah, cool. Like everybody's got good food. You just got to find what you like. And then so like, it's not Sicily's or Pizza Joe's has this or that. It's, I like this at that place. And then when I took that out of the equation, it was way easier to go around. I'll go over to Ashley's in Easton just because if you get a bottle of champagne, they bring over a stool and they put ice on it and the lady comes out and puts a towel over it. And like we did that for my birthday. And I'm like, who does this anymore? But then their food's really good. It's one of the best sandwiches I ever had was over there. But you don't know until you stop judging places or listening to other people on what's good or actually not what's good, but like what they don't like about it. It's easy for everybody to say what they don't like about it because they can't be judged.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I love that outlook that each place has like a thing that you find what you like there. Like I really truly believe in doing that. Unless it's not good service because
no, bad service will ruin everything.
It really will. It really will. Like I know working sucks. I get it. I don't love working, but if you're gonna serve, you gotta be nice. you gotta give that good service. But I feel the same. And I have not been to Ashley's yet, which I need to be.
It's so good.
I saw you with your champagne bottle. I was like, oh, you're so bougie.
Well, that was just at the bar. And then like they have a back room that she has painted, and then they changed the like because there's like a tree painted on the wall, and then like she's got like the fake leaves and stuff, and then they run lights back there, and then it's like very intimate for like a date dinner back there, or just like you would go there with the girls when you guys do that, like you would do that back there. And then she changes the feel of it with the season. So in the wintertime it's like Christmas lights, and then she'll change that so it feels like you're almost sitting during what's going on. And like I will get her on this podcast. There's people that I've talked to that were like, yo, we looked into your stuff and she'll crush, but like I have to get like her one-on-one. And when I do that, it's not the easiest thing to do, so I have to wait for the right moment. But she's on my hit list. Like that lady's really cool. She 100% cares about the food, the service, and like she wants you. And that's lost in some of the restaurants that open up. But like it is like, it's a very special place where like you can go and sit at the bar and see 3 different types of people sitting next to you, where we're having champagne, where the guy next to us is having a bottle of beer because he had a bad day at work. And then you look back and then there's some dates over here, and then there's people in the back. It's a very unique place that has like amazing food. It's one of my favorite places to go. Oh, Ashley's is dope.
That's cool. And I love that you mentioned the girls thing because we do the girls' night out every third Thursday of the month, and that would be such a vibe. I'll have to check that out.
I love that you guys do that because you guys really know how to capture, like you guys kind of like let go, and you don't mind showing like that version of you guys hanging out together, which isn't easy to do, and some people would probably be afraid to do it, but you have a very unique way of showing, like, I was like, man, like, that looks like so much fun. And it's not easy to do that unless you're being yourself. And being yourself in front of a phone with a bunch of people, yeah, it's way easier with alcohol, but you guys hit a home run on, like, and I could tell, like, you guys are all letting go, and this is your night out. This isn't something, like, you can tell everybody's having a blast. It's cool watching that stuff. You guys do awesome with social media.
It is. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's such a cool thing that Marlena from Lehigh Valley Pilates, she's the one that really started it. And I'm like, I always love to go and like support and like meeting new women and like meeting people from like all ages. Like I tend to be like on the younger side with the people that like I associate with, but I've met people, 10, 20 years older than me. I've met a few people that are younger than me, and every single person there always leaves feeling like they like really enjoyed themselves and like they made new friends. Like I've made so many new friends from these events, and we've had such a great time, and we always love to be ourselves. We're definitely pretty wild, but I love it. Like we every single one of us meshes, and like people will be nervous to go. Like some people have gone and they didn't know anybody, and like I know Marlene, like I know people that
it's
are
weird
going.
to do that. That's how it was when I went to Pat's that night. I didn't really know anyone, and I went by myself.
That's
like
right.
I knew Ted I knew from doing the photography and the video.
Oh yeah.
And I know Yanni, but like other than that, I didn't really, like, I knew of you, but we didn't talk the way we talk now.
Oh no, yeah, we really didn't talk that night at all. But yeah, no, like that, like I knew some other foodies, so like I did end up sticking to myself a little bit. Like,
I was kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, hey.
That's a good spot to be when you when you're trying to be social. But like, yeah, I've met quite a few people from these, and now like I've made more relationships, and like I've met these other people out, and it's such a fun time, and like to do like what you want, and like not to feel like you can't just have fun and show it. And I love showing that we have fun. People love seeing that we have fun. So like you telling me that,
no, it definitely comes across.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I love it. And like we're always tasteful, I feel like, but
seeing Shug drunk is, I think, my favorite.
Oh, she's great. I love her.
Well, she's so used to the camera at this point, you know what I mean? Like she hits a home run when she's like, I got too many drinks.
Yeah, I love when she sends a message and she's like, drunk, things are happening.
Yeah. That's cool. Where do you see kind of everything kind of going over the next couple of years? Where do you want it to go? Or are you just going to kind of keep doing what you're doing and, like work out what works out? Do you want to kind of work on some other projects like you did with the Iron Pigs with other people? Like what kind of, like, where do you see your avenue of your creativeness going with the page and everything and the success of it?
I really do just want to keep going where I'm going. With partnerships and, restaurants, them inviting and that people wanting partnerships is like with people like content creators is a very new concept. And, we're not like a Philly, we're not like a big city. So it's taking even longer for those things to catch on. So, they are becoming way more apparent. Like we've had the event at Pat's, and like I've been to like different events, and the restaurants will invite me in, and like that is, as that grows, like I just want to keep sticking with that and just keep doing what I'm doing. Like I love exactly what I'm doing, and it's easy to feel like I'm stuck. It's easy to feel like, oh, like maybe I should go do something else, or like I do need to take this, and I always want to stay relevant at the same time, but I just sometimes I don't feel like I don't really actually need to do those things. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, keep sharing my things. I want to keep putting my face out there more, because that's something that's newer for me on the page as well. But I want it to kind of just be like, I want people to feel like they know me, and like they could come up to me and like have a drink with me. Like that's how I want it to be, and I feel like I'm going in the right direction.
Yeah, I feel 100% you're going in the correct direction. I mean, it's one of the main reasons I wanted to bring you on, is you have a very unique vibe of how you put yourself out there. You can tell it's 100% who you are as a person. I believe everything you're doing is like unique, and you're growing, and it's fun to watch somebody grow, and then also to see them excited and they're not like throwing it in people's faces, and like you have a very unique way that you carry yourself, and it shows through your social media. And I think it's really special that we have somebody like you in the Valley, and I think it's cool that you hit 10K and it's all original and nothing's paid for, and you can tell that you don't pay for your followers, and I know a lot of people do. And just so you know, you can tell.
Yeah, you can we can tell, we know.
If you got 200,000 followers and you got 7 likes, something's off. But yeah, I just want to thank you for coming in. I don't want to hold you any longer. I want you to know that you hit a home run with this. You did so well. It was just regular conversation, which is what I wanted. I got to know you more than most before the show started, so I'm thankful for that, and I feel like we've become friends. And thank you so much for coming on. I want to give you a chance to plug anywhere where anybody can follow you, any way that anybody would want to see what's going on with you. I know you have Instagram. I don't know if you have any other pages besides that, but I just want to give you the kind of the floor to do that.
Yeah, of course. Instagram's my main page, sumfoodie, at sumfoodie on Instagram. And there's a Facebook page too, but if you don't have an Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, but Instagram's where all the good stuff happens.
Cool. If you're a first-time listener, first-time watcher, it's neveragainstudio.com. Subscribe to the YouTube. We have a bunch of new stuff coming down the pipe. We're in the middle of a move, but we're going to have way more shows coming on. We're going to be doing a cooking show, and you are definitely coming on and making mashed potatoes. We will make mashed potatoes and pair it with something, some kind of drink. I don't know what you would pair. Maybe vodka, something with potatoes. So we have so much content, so subscribe, all that stuff. If you just want to do audio, it's iTunes and Spotify are the major ones. And then that's it. neveragainstudio.com. All the clothing by the time this comes out will be going again, so you can support us with merch, following anyway. And then we're doing pop-ups until the restaurant's open, and then that's just going to be total chaos. So thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for listening and watching. And I don't know. Yeah. I'm terrible at closing this.
Thanks.
Goodbye. You did so good.
I believe it.
Never Again Radio. Get into it, brother.